What's up, guys? It's Wednesday. I think Kelly and I are a little bit more in the game here than we were on Monday. Monday we were both on the struggle bus. Both really on the struggle bus, if I'm not even gonna lie to you. But we're back. It's Wednesday. We are breaking down the Sweet 16. And I saw some of your plays, and it made me kind of nervous because we're on a lot of the same sides, Kelly. And I feel like it's either going to be really good or the other one. But I don't want to jinx it too soon.
Megan, it can't be any worse for me than last week. It could be worse for you. You had a good opening round, but man, when it rains, it pours.
But it's okay. That rain lets the grass grow. It's coming back to fruition to football season for you. So we're just not even going to worry about the bad days. We'll think about the good ones and just be positive vibes only, right? That's what
negative vibes only. I got to get Jack to make me that sweatshirt. You know, the sweatshirts they did make us though. And this has been something I've been tweeting in capital letters for years. Make your free throws finally arrived at my house. I was hoping it was going to be here before March Madness started, but apparently the sweatshirt is flying off the shelves. And it took a little bit longer to get me one, but I'm excited. It's great. I'm actually in my office sweating to death, but I had to wear the sweatshirt. I almost thought about cutting off the sleeves like Bill Belichick. But
I would love for you to do that.
I elected to not.
I think it would be a really good look. And then a deep V. It's just so you can show the cleavage off. The guns. And
There's no way. The cleavage starts like here and the deep. No. Okay. Well, the make your free throws is just, it is what it is. But I can cut it totally into like a crop top for sure too.
Oh, there you go. Just make it into a crop. That's what I always do. All right. That's enough of us talking clothes because I'm sure anyone that's watching is like, I don't give a fuck. So let's start breaking down these games. You have up first, Arkansas versus the Zags. The Zags are laying 9.5, and you have one of the best offensive teams left in the tournament and one of the best defensive teams left in the tournament. But I will echo what I said Monday and say, the SEC has been extremely fraudulent this year, which makes me go, Arkansas. Is Arkansas really going to be able to cover 9.5 against the Zags? Then I look back, have the Zags really blown anyone out throughout the tournament? Not really. I do think that the Arkansas defense will come into play, but I think that Gonzaga second half is going to roll. I think that they have the double-digit scorers, a plethora of them, to overshadow this gritty Arkansas defense. We also saw Arkansas struggle against New Mexico State. And look, New Mexico State compared to Gonzaga, I think they're a little different. Arkansas could have been caught on their toes. I think that they only scored like 54 points that game. They're only shooting like 28%. It was absolutely ridiculous. So we should expect a better game out of the Razorbacks. But I will say I'm staying away from this. I think it's a lay it or don't play it with the Zags. But I have a bet on every other game besides this game because I just don't know what to make of it. I think it's just I'm going to end up getting screwed whatever I do.
Yeah, so my best bet Thursday was Vermont. My best bet Friday was Chattanooga. My best bet Saturday was New Mexico State. So, Megan, the interesting thing is even though I've been sucking, if I just bet one game a day, I don't suck that bad. And I just would love to fade Arkansas here again because that's what the commonality was. I thought Arkansas was overrated against these teams that really are solid schools, just not that many people pay attention to them. We spoke about Vermont pretty heavily. And they had multiple opportunities. They cut it within 2. Luckily, they covered for me. Basically, the same thing with New Mexico State. Arkansas had opportunities to blow out both of these teams and couldn't get it done. And that's because they can't hit the 3 ball to save their lives. This is a Zags team on the flip side that I would love to say some good things about. But because they play in the West Coast Conference, I think they're very volatile. One of my good friends is like, I'm going to take the Zags plus 200 at the Barstool Sportsbook because of X, Y, Z. I know they're the odds-on favorite. I just don't necessarily believe in this team. Yes, Mark Few and this team has been here before, but so has Eric Musselman and this Arkansas team. They have a solid defense, and normally, we all know I love to take the better defense
plus the points.
I just cannot seem to get on board with either team, Megan. So I'm with you here. There may be a spot where you can live bet either team. That seemed to do okay in this tournament thus far, but I just don't love it. And the way that both these teams play as far as pace goes, it should be absolutely chaotic, right? This should be just score, 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 score. But the bookmakers know that, and that's why they made this line sky high. So I can't even really make a case for the over unless this wants to go into overtime. But I do think that this is too many points for me to lay with the Zags, and this is an Arkansas team that I haven't really trusted here down the stretch.
That's exactly my read on this game. Maybe we've just been spending too much time together on this show. Anthony Bickle, we will get to Houston here in just a second because that's obviously a big game that a lot of people want to talk about. But up next, we have Michigan, Villanova, and Nova is laying 5. And I'll go ahead and let you guys know I'm on Villanova laying the points. This Michigan team, I'm super proud of them. Chris, if you're in here, no shade at all, but we have seen this Michigan team fall completely fucking flat on their faces multiple times throughout the season. I understand that they have strung together some fantastic games during this tournament, but do you know who's playing their best basketball right now? That's Villanova. Jay Wright knows exactly how to do his job in March, and just like Gonzaga, multiple players that can score double digits. I just think that this Michigan team is maybe going to or has bitten off a little bit more than they can chew here. I like Villanova minus the 5. What are your thoughts, Kelly?
So this is an interesting one. I had a buddy text me the other day and they said, who is your final 2 teams? And I said, I like Texas Tech and Villanova. And he goes, Villanova, you hate my Wildcats. And I completely forgot he was a Villanova fan. Went to Villanova and he said, what's your deal with this team? And I said, look, I wasn't a believer in this team all year long. I bashed the Big East. I said, Jay Wright, yes, his team has been there several times before. We know they made it to the Elite 8 a ton of times now, and of course had some national championships along the way as well. I wonder, though, if this Michigan team has a lot of luck, right? We know Juwan Howard on the flip side.
What does Ken Palm have their luck ranking? I was wondering. That just popped into my head. Do you have Ken pulled up? So
I do have Ken pulled up. It's interesting because I don't know how to look at this team and say, okay, what are they doing that I'm missing, right? I bet against them day one, my first loss in the tournament, Colorado State up double digits. Michigan comes roaring back in the second half.
I bet on Michigan, but I thought that was the end of it. I thought they would get past the first round and then that would be done. But look, here we are, Sweet 16.
Look, look, they've been really solid in this tournament. They've been not only impressive against a really solid Tennessee team. I had Tennessee going into the Final Four. And when I don't do brackets, but I still pick, a couple, hey, I think this team, this is where we're going to see. I was shocked. I mean, not only did they beat Tennessee as, touchdown underdogs, basically. I think they were catching, 7.5, Megan?
Yeah, it was quite a lot, yeah.
Single-handedly just whooped up on this Tennessee team. This offense is really good. When they're hot, they are hot. Now, they're facing a really good defense in Villanova. I will say this. Villanova is one of those methodical teams that can control the pace. I think that this defense will be able to handle this offense. I made the game 6. So in theory, I should be on Villanova. So at 5, I don't know why I haven't gotten to the window yet. There's something about this Villanova team that I would like to bet on. But as I mentioned, this Michigan team feels awful lucky. And I don't know if I really want to step in front of them right now, if we're being honest.
I completely understand. There are a couple teams that I have that I also do not want to step in front of. Michigan, though, not one of them. I'm sorry if I sound like a hater, but look, Dickinson has done some great things, but man, I don't know if I am a believer in this Michigan team. And look, I don't want to say hopefully they'll make me eat my words for all of the Michigan people out there, but Villanova, it's March. I gotta lay the 5. Up next, a team that you and I both have taking it all. Also, we have another employee that is taking it as his game of the year. That's right. Texas Tech versus Duke. Duke is catching one. And I've heard Marty say that this Duke team is the team of destiny. And well, I also thought that about the LSU Tigers. I was proven completely and utterly wrong, especially because we didn't have a coach. But it's okay. But I'll go ahead and say that I have laid the -1 here with Texas Tech, essentially just to pick them. And why? Because I think Texas Tech has the strength of schedule advantage, or this not I guess it was a disadvantage because they have a harder strength of schedule. They have the athleticism, they have the length, they have the experience. And look, I know Duke has an extremely high ceiling. This team is young, this team is talented, and if they can put some shit together, it could get a little sweaty for me. However, this Texas Tech team has served me so well throughout the year. They're one of the best defenses in the entire nation, and I think that that's what gets it done here. So, Kelly, I've already taken the pick 'em with Texas Tech. What are you going to be on for this game?
I laid -110 Red Raiders money line. That's kind of the one cool thing over here at the Barstool Sportsbook. You can either lay -1, -109, or you can just bet the money line if the game lands one you don't push. So that is the right play. Pay the extra cent at the Barstool Sportsbook and take Texas Tech money line. Now, this is how I see this game playing out. You mentioned a lot of us really like this team to go all the way. I see this Duke team as a team that we've seen fall flat on their face several times. And one of the things Texas Tech does really well is they take teams out of their comfort zone. And my dad, I forget how my dad described it. It was like some weird word. He's like, I don't like how Texas Tech plays because they play XYZ. And I go, yeah, Dad, that's what I forget. There was like some weird terminology. And I'm like, okay, you're 75. I haven't heard that word in a long time. But it was basically he didn't like their style of play. Well, their style of play adjusts throughout the game, and they really get underneath their opponent's skin. They play a style of defense that has got to be so frustrating. Like, me in 8th grade basketball, like I would have just wanted to spike the ball off your face if you were one of those Texas Tech defenders, because I would have been so mad that I could not get to the rim or pass the ball. I mean, this defense is smothering. That being said, yeah, lay the -110. This is a Duke team you're paying a premium for, as always. That's why they haven't covered their last 6 games. This is a Duke team that everybody says, okay, well, it's team of destiny, Coach K, yada, yada, yada. All of that's built in the line. I think the Red Raiders win this game.
If this was destiny, then they would have won against UNC before the tournament started. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Bingo.
Bingo, bongo. All right, on to one of the games that were Texas Tech's got to do God's work. That's very true. That people were asking about in the comments, and I saw that you had a little exchange with Blattman. Houston versus Arizona. And Kelly, usually you're the this is your kind of specialty, but I was looking and I'm like, man, I think it's actually down. Is it down? It went back to 2. It was at 1.5, and now I think it's back to 2. Let me double check on that.
It is back to 2, yes.
But my little, simple mind is, man, why are the bookmakers with a 1 seed only asking me to lay 2 against a 5 seed? It just seems a little fishy. And the reason being is because I think the bookmakers want me to bet Arizona here. And again, this is your specialty. You're Kelly in Vegas. I'm just Megan in Louisiana. But I will say that I've liked this Houston team. Me and then my husband's been all over Houston. He's fucking loved them. And in the beginning, I didn't really buy into it. But maybe he is right. I don't know. I've been on the Texas Tech train. However, this Houston team is so gritty. Talking about getting under people's skin, that's what Houston does too. You have this Arizona team who should have lost to our TCU Horned Frogs. We should be getting a cut of some money right now. However, we are not. Houston isn't TCU, and respectfully, TCU is very gritty. But this Houston team is going to freaking grind. Also, you know what they're going to do? They're going to get the boards. And that's going to make a humongous difference here. I'm going to go ahead. I like Houston. I like them +2, but I'm going to sprinkle on the money line as well because I really feel like this might be where Arizona goes to die.
Yeah, Megan, you nailed it. This is a defense. This is a Houston Cougars defense, and a defense that Arizona hasn't seen all year long because they play in the Pac-12. They don't play anybody. Every time they play somebody, guess what happens? They lose. I text David I just really wanted him to know last night, like, hey, like keep your expectations low. Like you guys got out with a nice somehow win and dogs go to die in overtime. Your guy even got a little handful walking back to the locker room, whatever, supposedly, allegedly, as we like to say in Barstool. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. All I know is I didn't get to cash that TCU ticket on the money line. I do think that is something to consider here as well. Yes, there is going to be a nice 4-day break in between games, but those type of games kind of give teams those like a little bit of jitters, if you will, for the next game. Like, oh my God, we almost lost to a TCU team. Maybe we're not as good as we thought we were. Top 10 defense, top 10 offense. This adjusted tempo should be able to really slow down the Wildcats. If you like Houston, maybe parlay it with the under. If you're the parlaying type, I think those two things are correlated. I did bet plus 1.5. I also bet plus 110 on the money line. I think the Cougars win this game on the boards. And that's just bottom line. I think that they're going to get a lot of second chance points here, Megan. And if they're able to do that and make their free throws,
yep,
they're going to win this game.
I wanted to tell you, was it Villanova that? Hold on. I think it was. Hold on. I had a fun fact for you, but it might not have been Villanova. It might have been.
Ben Moore, very good comment there. He nailed it. Houston being a 5 seed was pretty hilarious. They are a better team than Arizona and KenPom. Oh. And if you look at KenPom, that's exactly where all these bookmakers are getting their numbers from. I mean, the lines are so tight here.
Speaking of your Make Your Free Throws t-shirt, that's our sweatshirt that is for sale at the Barstool Sportsbook. I wanted to throw this out to you because I feel like this will also kind of sway you, and also it'll just maybe turn you on a little bit, which is part of my job. Villanova is on track to be the best free throw shooting team of all time.
Wow.
Of all time. How insane is that? Right? Insane. Look, he said Nova, 82% free throw. Boom. Done. Just want to throw that quick little information out there. But I agree with you. I think Houston takes this one. As I said, I like them plus a 2 and also on the money line. Smothering defense. They'll get the boards. It should be a nice, slow game on that side. But speaking of teams that you do not want to get in front of, let's move on to St. Peter's and Purdue, where you had the Boilermakers laying 12.5. I'm going to go ahead and state that I've already taken St. Peter's plus the 12.5. And while I am not super excited about it, I am rolling with Doug, the Peacocks, and the momentum. I know how good this Purdue team is, and I am fucking terrified to bet against them. Ivy looked damn near Jordan-esque his last game out, fucking played his ass off. But if St. Peter's has a shooting game like they did against Kentucky, not only will they cover this spread, but maybe even make the Boilermakers sweat. So I know I'm crazy, but it is March Madness. It's time for me to go a little mad. I'm going to keep on riding the Peacocks, and I don't care if they're a square dog. I have been on St. Peter's all year long. All year long. Kelly's been sitting here. She knows it. She's like, why are you looking at these small teams? I'm like, because that's what I do, Kelly. And this Peacocks team, I understand they're a square dog because they're
Who said they're a square dog?
Some guy said Megan on St. Peter's, pretty predictable. Then he said Peter's square. Jamie said Peacocks, square dog.
No, I don't think so, Megan. I don't think they're a square dog at all, as a matter of fact. St. Peter's has covered every single game in the month of March, which is great. And maybe they're getting a little love in the marketplace, but Purdue has just single-handedly laid the absolute utter smackdown on teams for basically all of 2022. Like, they've only lost 6 games and since the year started to really solid teams. Never once have they laid an egg to anybody that's not good. I mean, this is going to be really tough. Full disclosure, I have St. Peter's in the Calcutta. Chattanooga didn't win. Unfortunately, that hurt. Colorado State didn't win. Unfortunately, that hurt. I ended up on Texas instead of Tech. So that draft pick really hurt as well. And I need St. Peter's to win so I don't have to write a really sizable check to this charity. That being said, I'm planning on writing a really sizable check to this charity. See, David Blattman, I do that to myself. You got to remind yourself of your expectation level. Like, I'm just going to write the check out today, put it in an envelope, stamp it, sign it, and have it sitting on my desk so it can go out first thing Monday morning. And maybe that will put some negative vibes or reverse jinx vibes, however you want to look at it, into the universe. And St. Peter's can somehow win this game. This is too many points. Bottom line, KenPom makes this a 10-point game. You're paying a premium to bet Purdue, but you were paying a premium against Texas to bet Purdue. And guess what? Texas did not show up. While they cut the lead there a little bit, just did not happen. Friday before that, they just waxed Yale. And Yale's usually a team that shows up in the tournament, shows a little bit of face. They did not. Purdue is really, really good here. Look, we got about a 16% chance, maybe a little bit more, Megan, to win this game outright. I'm going to take St. Peter's plus the 12.
It was like 87% or something in Purdue's favor.
Probably. I don't have the actual breakdown right in front of me, but you get the idea. I'm going to take the 12.5 just because if the team – so this is where I went wrong in my calculations. I thought in the Calcuttas, if the team covered, you still got some money. If the team won outright as a dog, you got more. Well, apparently that was only for the first round, first two rounds. Now that we're in the Sweet 16, if St. Peter's covers, I still get $0, which would have been nice to like ease the blow. It's not going to happen. I need an outright winner from the Peacocks. So don't follow me on this one because Purdue's probably going to blow them out of the water.
Yeah, that's why I said I can easily see Purdue getting into a groove and absolutely blowing them out. But again, if the Peacocks can shoot like they did against Kentucky, they are going to hang in there. And as far as Sean Bennett, first off, I've never liked the way that that's been spelled. I don't think Sean should be spelled that way. Secondly, I'm going to defend the Peacocks. It's not that I'm letting anyone live rent-free. And also, I'm going to triple down. I just don't like the way you spell your name. It sucks. All right, on to Providence versus Kansas. You have Kansas minus 7.5. And another team that I've been loving, another team that I've been backing is Providence. And I'm already on them plus the 7.5. I, again, think that Kansas could absolutely blow me out of the water here. They definitely have the ability. They have the strength schedule. They've played some extremely hard teams. But, man, I think Providence has a good enough defense to hang in. I think all the pressure is going to be on Kansas. And I think just 7.5 is too many. I think this game lands like 5. But also, I do know, just like with Purdue, that I have the potential to be blown out of the water here. What do you think?
So remember how I said that the luckiest team I thought was Michigan? I was close. They are one of the luckiest teams in college basketball, Megan. You know who the team that's luckier? Providence. And that's why I've been betting against them. It has nothing to do with Providence, but they don't pass the eye test for me. This is a team that I haven't been that high on for a magnitude of reasons. And guess what they've been doing? They've been waxing their opponents. South Dakota State was a square dog on Thursday, and I had to learn that one the hard way. But by the time I realized it was a square dog, I couldn't get to the window fast enough to get the bet in. That being said, that's why you don't drink too many seltzers during March Madness. Next year, I'm going to the Bahamas. I swear, I'm done being in Vegas for March Madness. There's too many distractions, and it's not good for my soul. That being said, I was on Richmond on Saturday, big fat L. I'm going to bet against Providence again here. I'm going to lay the 7.5 with the Jayhawks. This is a Jayhawks team that, by all means, could make the Final Four. I hope they don't. I hope they just win this game rather convincingly and then get blown out by whoever in the Final Four. But I will say there's an asterisk. I've been betting against Providence, and it hasn't been working out for me. But now I know why.
There's an asterisk, right? Because they're lucky. However,
they're lucky.
Between the defense and the luck, they keep it within the 7.5. And Kelly's on the other side, thinking that they could potentially be blown out. Which
look, this is a team that plays slow. This is a team that is good on both sides of the ball. They do turn the ball over a ton, and you don't want to do that against a Kansas school. They will capitalize on that against you. And look, as much as I don't want KU, I want KU to lose this game. As a fan, I want KU to lose. So I can go out and buy a Providence shirt to go along with my Davidson and my Bucknell and all the other shirts that I used to collect in college when they would choke away in March Madness. That being said, I I will not be betting against KU. I will be laying
Kelly's
the 7.5.
not betting against KU. I am going to keep on riding my hot hand, whether it's with the Peacocks, whether it's with Providence, or whether it's with the next team that we're about to talk, UNC, UCLA. I like UNC. I like them plus the points, and I like it on the money line. Why this UCLA team? I don't believe in them. I just don't. I think this UNC team, though that they do have, how do I want to put this? The ability to absolutely blow dick. They also have the ability to put together a fucking fantastic game, i.e. the Duke game, i.e. every single game of this tournament thus far. UCLA, I mean, are you impressed with that? The best game they've had against is Arizona, deservingly. Arizona's number one, whatever. But UCLA literally shot lights out. It was like the best game of their entire life. I think UNC comes in here again with a chip on their shoulder. Where is the public on the UNC game, Kelly? But I like UNC. I think they take it up a notch. I think they get the win here. I have them going to the Sweet 16 in my bracket. So this isn't, and if anybody doesn't believe me, it's right here. And you can check it on Bench Mob because that's where I did my bracket. But I like this UNC team. If there is a team of destiny, I think UNC might be it.
Yeah, I mean, Megan, they've covered 6 of their last 7. I can see why you like them, but watching that game against Baylor, and I had no action on it whatsoever. I was watching with a couple of Baylor friends. What a collapse. And, you know, I didn't care about the result, but like, how do you get 40 minutes from this North Carolina team? I just was absolutely appalled. I couldn't believe how bad that happened down the stretch. How much do they have left in the tank? On the flip side, you got UCLA. As I've mentioned all year long, I've been bashing on the Pac-12. I feel like their conference is insufferable. I don't want to watch any of their games outside of basically UCLA or Arizona. I don't think that they have quality teams top to bottom to basically challenge them throughout the year. I lean towards UCLA here. I highly, highly doubt I'm going to get to the window on this team. UCLA looks great on paper. Great sides on both sides of the ball. Can control the pace. North Carolina, flip side, they like to run. They're decent on both sides of the ball, but they have a little bit of a turnover problem, as we saw when they turn the ball over, all hell breaks loose. And that's what they did against Baylor. They just fell flat on their face. And I don't know how much left they have in the tank. And that would be the only reason why I would lay 2.5 with UCLA here. Early money came in on North Carolina, though, for what it's worth. It opened 3, now down to 2.5.
I just want to I'm letting these comments. She doesn't believe in a UCLA team that was in the Final Four a year ago and that she hasn't watched play at all this year. I'm pretty sure that Baylor won the national championship last year and isn't even in the tournament anymore. So I don't know if your A plus B actually equals C or not. So we might just want to.
I think Herbie's probably a fan. Listen, Megan, you have to remember, fans have a different set of emotions than bettors. That's why I spoke from a fan perspective about KU. So if I actually get to the window and bet the Jayhawks, that's how much I like it, because I hate this team. I want them to lose every single game for all eternity.
So let me know, just to send me a text and let me know if you decide to be on KU.
I will definitely tweet it out as well.
Yeah, tweet it out. Let me know. But text me before you tweet it out, so hopefully I can get the better of the number. All right, final game. We're going to talk another team that I've been writing, another team that I've absolutely loved. That is Miami. I'm laying the 2.5. What do you know what this opened at? Was it at 2.5 when it opened? Was it?
Yeah, 2.5 on Monday night. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes for my flight.
But yeah, Iowa State had great wins over my LSU Tigers team with absolutely no coach, and a Wisconsin team that has been wishy-washy up and down all year long. One team that I have watched a lot of is Wisconsin and LSU. Both teams very, very wishy-washy. Iowa State, I told you on Monday, I didn't even consider them making it past the first round, and here they are, trucking it away. However, this Miami offense is going to be way too much for this Iowa State defense. And that's just my humble opinion and why I put my money on Miami. And I've loved this Miami team. I'm slightly sad we didn't pick them for our sleeper. However, TCU was the right pick. It really was. But I like Miami. I'm going to continue just like St. Peter's, just like Providence, just like UNC to continue to ride what I think are better teams. And even if it's with a little bit of luck, it's okay.
Yeah, I played this team on, what was it, Sunday? And I didn't give it on as my best bet because, of course, I couldn't bear to do that. I had to pick Texas like a freaking idiot. But I am going to be on Iowa State again here. This is a solid defense. And while offensively they are so inept, it is almost painful. That game against Wisconsin was like, my God, could you guys both be any worse offensively? It was just dreadful. So if Iowa State gets in a shootout with Miami, they are absolutely screwed. The end of the game, it's over. It's going to be like that Oklahoma State game where they absolutely got waxed to end the season. But I don't think that's going to be the case here. I do think that this is an Iowa State team that is going to be able to get the best of Miami. I was shocked to see this line 2.5. This game should be pick 'em, maybe Miami -1. I think both teams had rather shocking performances so far, right? Miami, maybe, down to the wire there with USC on Friday, but to just wax Auburn, a lot of people thought could be a national champion. And Miami just buried them on Sunday.
I had them going to my Final Four. Definitely I was shocked at that Auburn.
Megan, I love and hate my friends, but I think the biggest problem with being in Vegas with about 15 people that I love and care about was that everybody has an opinion on every game. And
just
where
like everybody else in the entire fucking
right. But when I'm like at home and I do my own thing, I don't let any voices. I don't even watch talking heads on TV. I bet my games and that's it. And when you're in that atmosphere and there's so many games going on and there's so much, it's everything, right? Like you want to have action. You want to do all the things that I sit here and tell people not to do, I was doing, except for Miami. Just so you know, everybody was like, oh, Miami's the dog today. Miami's the dog. I'm like, Miami's not going to beat Auburn. I looked at it, sat right there. Miami just absolutely waxed their asses. And yeah, Jay, you're right. The SEC was trash in the tournament. So we're going to see how trash, because both these teams have each played an SEC team. Let's see how the cookie crumbles. Megan and I are head to head here. I'm going to take the 2.5 with the Cyclones.
And just to recap, we're not touching Arkansas Gonzaga. I lean the Zags. You lean Zags as well? Yes, no?
I'm not going to be getting to the window. If you're going to make me pick, I have a game. I have an answer written down for every single game. I have Zags written down. I'm not going to bet the Zags. I don't trust this team. I don't think that they're this year's national champion.
I agree. So I'm passing on that game. We're both on Nova -5, or have you not gotten to the window with that?
It's circled. I have not bet it yet because I thought we were going to see this one move closer to 6. It has not.
I thought it would move too.
And I'm hanging tight here. I'm kind of curious to see. Sometimes getting that late information has been way better for me. So because it's not a game that I'm in love with, I haven't bet it yet. So far, I've only bet 3 games.
I've bet all of them besides the Gonzaga Arkansas game. So I have Villanova. We're both on Texas Tech. I know that you have taken Tech. We're both on Houston, which is a nice handshake there. We're both on St. Peter's. Or do you just have that circle?
I bet the plus 12.5. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of emotional there because they're going to get blown out. It just is what it is.
We are on opposite sides of Providence and KU. Kelly will tweet it out if she's for sure on KU. She doesn't like them. She doesn't like Providence because she feels they're too lucky and hasn't passed the eye test. I am on Providence plus a 7.5. I think they have a good enough defense to stay within this game. I do think Kansas ends up winning, though, so I wouldn't waste any money. Up next, UNC, UCLA. I'm on UNC. Kelly has a slight nod to UCLA, which, if I'm going to be honest, since the beginning of football season of last year, I've had a beef with UCLA, but that's besides the point. And last
football season, Megan.
I know. I hold.
Wait, so I need to know. Then, are you going to hold this grudge with Michigan State into football season?
Oh, probably. I'm an awful loser. I'm angry at everyone, and I hold grudges longer than anyone. I will die with grudges. Hell, like I promise you, at my funeral, my best friend will read, "You're not supposed to be here. Fuck you. She didn't like you. Mom, leave." Like, I promise you, that's exactly how I am. So we're split on UNC, UCLA, and we're also, Kelly is having a slight lean towards Iowa State, or we are on Iowa State. Is it circled?
No, I'm on Iowa State.
Okay, she's on Iowa State. I'm on Miami. So technically we're only going head to head Kansas, Providence, and Iowa State, Miami. And other than that, looks like we should have a profitable day.
I better, Megan. I might have to find a new job if I'm not having a great weekend. My best bet, just because the comments is asking, is going to be Houston on the money line, plus 1.5, depending on where you like to shop. If you're not shopping at the Barstool Sportsbook, you're a jackass. And also, if you're not buying this amazing hoodie that I've needed for like the last 20 years of my life, make your free throws. Is available right now. It might take till April to get it, though, just because I have all of them sitting in my living room.
And my best bet, because of Kelly's shirt, is Villanova. The t-shirt says it all. Make your free throws. If Villanova's up 3, all that's going to happen is Michigan's going to foul and Villanova's just going to wet, and we cover. So, all right, guys, that was your coverage of the Sweet 16. Kelly and I are going to probably go drink some Revitalize, some waters, get our livers ready.
You know what, Megan? I did have a high noon for lunch with Grandma. It was her sister's 80th something birthday, and she was like, "You got to have a drink with me." And I was like, "Well, fine."
Just
That's
one.
probably why I'm super red right now.
Just one.
So my body's like is having an allergic reaction at this point. It's like, if you give me any more alcohol, I'm gonna kill you.
Donating livers. I'm O negative, so I think I can give to anyone. Can anyone give to me if I'm O negative? I don't know. I'm like
I don't think so. I don't know how that works. I'm O positive, so don't ask me for my blood. It's special.
Yeah, mine's special. Mine can go to anybody. But you don't want my blood because it's evil. All right, guys. Y'all have a great weekend. Bet responsibly and obviously only at the Barstool Sportsbook.